Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Soph. On this channel we talk about all things books with a little bit of beauty sometimes when I feel like it, but mostly books. For today's video I have a big treat for you all because I have another relatively big book haul. I am now on a book buying ban until I've read most of my books, except for the books that I will be pre-ordering or have pre-ordered, because there's a lot of sequels coming out this year and I will be getting hold of them / special editions of them. So other than those, I'm on a book buying ban. These were a mix of charity shop finds, treat yourselves, and anniversary presents from Connor. So yeah, but there's over 20 books. So I won't be going into all of them with great detail. I may give a summary of them, and yeah, I'm just going to get into it because there is a lot to go through. First of all, I'm going to do the charity shop finds. Me and Connor went shopping the other day. There's only 2 books because honestly, the charity shops near me don't have, like, they're doing great. It's like whatever, they're doing what they need to do, no hard feelings at all, but they don't have the greatest selection of books. But I did actually go there with one book in mind because it's been hyped about a lot on some of my like booktubers. So I watch like Chloe with books with Chloe, I watch Bambina Katrina, and they've been reading this book, so I was like, I love the film, so why haven't I read the book? So I actually went into the charity shops with this book in mind because I wanted it, but I didn't want it enough to pay like £10 that you would at like Waterstones and stuff. And that is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is, unfortunately, this is the movie cover edition. I bought this for £2. Like, I'm not even mad about it. But if you don't know what Gone Girl is, basically, I don't know how to summarize it without giving spoilers because it is a thriller. Basically, there's a couple called Nick and Amy Dunn, and Amy goes missing. That's all I'm gonna say. That is all I'm gonna say. It's a really good movie if you want to watch the movie, but I am excited to see how the book compares. I was watching Chloe's vlog while she was reading this, and her reactions maybe was the reason that I wanted to pick it up, because I was like, okay, I need to go get this. So there's that one. And then for just £1, I picked up Conversations with a Friend by Sally Rooney, which I was so shocked at because look, the pages are like brand new, and I'm pretty sure this is a relatively new one of hers. I could be wrong, but yeah, I've heard not the best things about this one, but I did want to see for myself because apparently Normal People's really good, but they didn't have Normal People. But I'm just going to read the blurb quickly because it's quite short. Frances is 21 years old, cool-headed and observant, a student in Dublin and an aspiring writer. At night, she performs spoken word with her best friend Bobby, who used to be her girlfriend. When they are interviewed and then befriended by Melissa, a well-known journalist who is married to Nick, an actor, they enter a world of beautiful houses, raucous dinner parties, and holidays in Brittany. Beginning a complex menage a quarter, but when Frances and Nick get unexpectedly closer, the sharply witted and emotion-averse Frances is forced to honestly confront her own vulnerabilities for the first time. That is the first time I've read that blurb, and that sounds so, like, what the hell? I'm so down for it. Like, I kind of wish I was reading it this month, but I don't have room for another book this month. If I feel like it, I'll pick it up, but I'm interested to see why some of the reviews aren't very good on this one. But I mean, I picked it up for £1, so I'm not even going to complain about it. But yeah, that sounds really good. Like, really good. And it looks like the chapters aren't even that long. And it's quite a small book, really. Like, 320 pages. Yeah, literally 320 pages. Bargain. Next up, we have the ones that I treated myself to. And then the rest are a mix of treat and anniversary presents. So don't judge me. But I got 5 from Waterstones. So first up we have The Witcher: The Last Wish. Honestly, I don't even know if this is the first one or not because it was really confusing like how they were laid out, and some of them had numbers on and some of them didn't, so this may not even be, I don't even know where this comes in the series. But I've always been interested by the story of The Witcher, but I never got into The Witcher season 1 when it first came out. I would watch an episode here and there with Connor, but I was never like that into it. But obviously I've been reading fantasy and stuff now, so it is my kind of vibe. So I picked up the book. Again, I don't know what this book is. I don't know if this one just is like... Oh, this is the short stories one. And then there's the novels. Okay, that makes sense. So this is one of the short stories. And then if I like this, then I'll go on to the actual like novels. Yeah, it's just about the Witcher. Geralt of Rivia is a Witcher. He uses his legendary power and lifelong training to protect the innocent by hunting the vile fiends that ravage the land. There's not much more to say about that other than it's fantasy. If you don't know what The Witcher is, then I'm surprised because it's a game, a TV show, a book series. So pretty much everyone knows what it is, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but yeah, I'm excited to read this one. We then have one that's been on my wish list for a while, and that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. It is the paperback version. This is basically a like modern Romeo and Juliet retelling in China, in Shanghai. So yeah, the main girl is called Juliet and the main boy is called Roma. So, but they're basically in like rival gangs in Shanghai, and I'm not gonna say much more because I don't want to know too much more. I want to go into it with a kind of empty mind, so I don't know what to expect. But yeah, if I like this one, I will get the sequel. We then have The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I have almost read this. I am on page 220. If you watch my 24-hour reading vlog, I haven't read much at all since that reading vlog. I have been in a bit of a reading slump. I think I just needed a break because I read so much in like one go at the start of January, and then by the time I got towards the end of January I was like, no more books please, for a minute. So I just had a bit of a break. I was reading some more today, so I think I will finish it very soon. It's basically about, our main character is a witch, and when she was a teenager she was dating a guy called Reese. And he is also a witch, but he broke her heart when he basically told her that his father had arranged his engagement to somebody else, but he didn't tell her like at the start of them having this relationship. So she was obviously heartbroken, told him to get out, sent him back to Wales type thing. And then she got drunk with her cousin, and they did like a silly goofy curse which they didn't think actually worked, and they didn't think that they actually put any magic into it. But 9 years later he comes to charge the ley lines and he's having a bit of difficulty. So it's actually such a goofy, quirky, contemporary romance fiction type thing, and I'm really enjoying it. The only reason I'm struggling to get through it is because I just cannot get into the mindset to sit down and read big chunks at the moment. And then the last two I treated myself to last month is the Penguin cloth bound classics of Frankenstein and Dracula. I'm not going to go into them because I think everyone pretty much knows what the story is, but yeah, these are just stunning and they're not cheap at all. They're about £15 each, but so worth it. I don't want all the classics. I just wanted these two to go with my pictures of Dorian Gray. So now I have like a grey moment. So I'm really glad that I picked those up because I've wanted them for a while, because I did. My like actual vibes is like spooky, horror, vampires. Like Dracula I should have read a long time ago, but I didn't, and same with Frankenstein. So I decided they were like and Dorian Gray, those three, they're the three classics that I really wanted to read. And although I will not annotate in that at all, Connor does have a version that because he did English literature at school, so they have like a version where you can break it down and annotate it and stuff. So if I want to annotate anything, I can do it in that book, which is cool. Now we're on to the big one, which is the book depository haul. There is 3 books missing from this haul, and that is From Blood and Ash, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and Crown of Gilded Bones in hardback version. I do have the From Blood and Ash paperback, and I have the other 2 in ebook, but they're literally like one of my favourite series at the moment, so I wanted them in hardback so that I could pre-order the next one in hardback and have the set. So they're actually on their way, but I don't need to talk about them because I have spoken about them in so many other videos, so it doesn't really matter. This is where it gets long because I've got 2 boxes of 6 and then I have a pile of 3 here. So let's go. This is going to be such a pain to edit. First up, we have King of Battle and Blood by Scarlet St Clare. She is the lady that wrote Touch of Darkness, the Hades and Persephone retelling. This one is a vampire romance about a girl who is being forced to marry the vampire king to save her kingdom. So I'm super excited to read this. I love anything to do with vampires, and Jodie, she did like a reading vlog and some Instagram posts on this and she really loved it, and I seem to have the same kind of taste in books as her, so I have a lot of good vibes when it comes to this one. I'm so excited to read this one. I loved Touch of Darkness, like loved it. I haven't read the other 2 in the series, but I'm excited to read this one. We then have, and honestly, this book cover triggers me a little bit, but we have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. They sent me one of the copies that have like the shorter cover. I don't know why they do that at all. It doesn't look good in my opinion, and it just really bugs me, so I'm a bit annoyed about that, but I do love how like shiny it is. So this one is about, I'll read the synopsis for you. All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of the Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among magical grimoires that rattle beneath iron chains, capable of transforming into grotesque monsters. When an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, Elizabeth is accused of treason. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world could go along with them. That sounds so good! And it's really floppy, which I love. I knew there was a reason that I picked this book up. But yeah, this gave me like kind of ACOTAR vibes, but no. I don't really know why it reminds me of ACOTAR, but it does. Hoping that there's going to be a little bit of romance between her and her sworn enemy. If there isn't, I'm gonna be very disappointed. If there is, I'm gonna be very happy. I have heard a lot of good things about that book, so. And then we have The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I love the TV series of this like so much. It's probably my favorite show on Netflix, and I just, yeah, I needed to read the book version. I look at it every time I go into Waterstones, but this time I was like, you know what? Just get it. You don't have any modern classic horrors, so if you don't know what The Haunting of Hill House is, well, the show was about a family who lived in a haunted house, and it kind of like messed up their family like big time, and the show flicks between when they were children in the house and when they're adults, and it's like affecting them as adults in the present day. And yeah, it's just such a good series. I'm so excited to read this and get spooked by it. I almost read it the other day, but I was home alone and I was like, you know what, now's not the best time. But yeah, I'm so excited to read this. We then have Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I have heard very mixed things on this book, but it sounds like something I would enjoy. So I'm just going to read you the synopsis of this one because I actually think this sounds like such a good book. I don't understand why it's got mixed reviews. Bone Criers have a sacred duty, to ferry the spirits of the dead to the afterlife, but the gods demand a sacrifice from them to prove their dedication. Elise has prepared since birth to become the matriarch of the Bone Criers, but first she must complete her rite of passage by finding and killing the boy she is destined to love. Bastian has been seeking revenge for his father's death at the hands of a bone crier when he finds Elise on the night of her ritual. Their fates become entwined in life and in death. Sabine has never had the stomach for the bone crier's work, but when her best friend Elise is taken captive, Sabine will do whatever it takes to break the bond between Elise and Bastian before they all die. This is a duology. I hope I really like it because then I'll get the second one and I'll like read the whole thing. But yeah, I think this sounds so good. Again, it's something that I haven't really read before, so I have very high hopes for it. But yeah, so we shall see. I think it sounds good. I hope I like it. I then actually got 2 poetry books, and these I saw, one I got the idea from Books of Chloe, which is this one, Soft Thorns. And then Water in the Soul, I believe Kat read it on Bambina Katrina, and she said it was like really, really good. So Soul of Thorns is a poetry book. It doesn't have content warnings, but on the back it does say the poetry living within these pages tells a story of love and heartbreak, freedom and oppression, sexual assault and sexism, hope and humanity. Our darkest times are where we all learn how to heal. So here are some of mine. So this is Soft Thorns by Bridget DeVoe. So yeah, some of these like trigger warnings, it has sexual assault in it. It does use the word rape, from what I've like flicked through and seen, but there are some really nice ones about like love and growing and getting past heartbreak and stuff like that. The first one, I literally flicked it open when I got it, and the first one I saw was like so relatable. I don't know if I'll be able to find it now. You left me and I became all the things you said I wasn't, yet you will never get to know it. That resonated with me. I was like, okay, I'm sold on the book. I literally didn't have any poetry books until I got this one, so I'm really excited. I feel like some of them I won't relate to because I've never gone through some of the things, but I think it will still be good to like read it and just let it all sink in. And then the other one is Water in the Soul by Courtney Peppernow. These are about like healing your soul, becoming whole again. So I just flick to a short one. Even in the moments it all feels like too much and your heart is heavy and your soul weary, you can still be kind. Even in the darkest moments of your life, kindness is the greatest light that shines. So yeah, I just feel like this is going to be one that I just highlight all the way through. I hope not, but yeah, it's just about like healing your soul, becoming a better person, that type of thing. I feel like it will be really helpful to read, so I'm looking forward to that. Only 9 more to go. We then have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is like the floppiest paperback I own. I don't really know how to summarize this one, so I'm just going to read the synopsis because it's quite short. A formidable outlaw family that claims to be the first among nations, a son destined to lead, thrust suddenly into power, 3 fierce young women of the Ratan, the Queen's premier guard, a legendary street thief leading a mission determined to prove herself, a dark secret that is a threat to the entire continent. When outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat and mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. I've had my eye on this one for so long. It has a map, which we love. I almost bought the hardbacks of both this and the sequel, but I thought, no, don't waste your money. Go in for the paperback first, and then if you enjoy it, you can get the paperback of the sequel. And the sequel is called Vow of Thieves. So again, this is different to a lot of my books, so fingers crossed I like it. I think I will. I have high hope. We then have a contemporary romance, and it's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is about 2 scientists who form a fake relationship? Yeah. So one is a professor, one is a biologist, and she basically pretends to be dating the guy to kind of prove to her best friend that she's fine, she's like in a happy relationship type thing. And then things get more serious, I guess. Fake dating tropes are really fun to read, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. And then there is actually a sequel coming out, or it's coming out. And I saw that and I really want that one as well. So I need to get reading on this one. And then we have For Tuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. This is a 4-part series at the moment. And it's about a siren. Okay, I don't know if she's her brother, I believe she is a siren. Her brother goes missing and kind of leaves her on her own, and then a man comes up to her and basically says that he will help her find her brother, but she has to marry him, and then after she marries him, she realizes he's actually a Fae king. She swaps her life for her brother's pretty much, and yeah. I don't know what the rest of the storyline is, I don't want to know. I'm wanting to go in without knowing very much, but there is a content warning, and it says, please be aware, this novel contains scenes or themes of slavery, profanity, spiders, eating disorders, sexual harassment and abusive relationship, violence, cannibalism, and animal death, sex, and murder. So if you can't handle any of those things, please do not pick this up, or my suggestion or anything else. If you can, give it a go. I think this sounds like a really good book, and Becca from Becca and the Books, she really enjoyed it. and she's just finished reading the 4th one, which she said was amazing. So I think it'd be really good if you can cope with those contents, but please do not go into it if you cannot, or you will struggle. That's one box down, that's one to go. So I bought the entire Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Brief summary is that there is a Dark Lord trying to take over the world, and the magic system in this book is based around metal. I believe you have to consume it. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't read too much into this because, again, I do want to go in without having too much pre-background. All I really know is what friends have told me, and I am really excited to read this because I don't read much like full-blown fantasy. I always go for like fantasy romance. I hope I enjoy it. I think I will. It sounds really fun, and I'm pretty sure it has a strong female character in it, so that is what I'm here for. We then have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is about a circus that just arrives. There's no warning or announcement. It just is there when it wasn't before, and that is pretty much all I have on the back of this book. So it does say, the night circus made me happy, playful and intensely imaginative. Erin Morgenstern has created the circus I have always longed for. This is a marvellous book. So I do have high hopes for this. I think it kind of sounds a little bit like Caraval. It may not be. It may be completely different, but I'm here for it. It's also a really weird size paperback. Like, look at it compared to this one. It's just really short. We then have, this is another one that I got because Chloe raved about it on her channel. I love how I'm calling all these people by their first names, even though they literally have no idea who I am. Like, we're not friends. I wish I was their friends, but yeah, they don't know who I am. I just know them as Chloe, Becca, Jodie, because I can't remember half of their channel names. But yeah, Chloe loves this book, and it's Bunny by Mona Awad. It's meant to be a proper like ride. Like, not many people talk about it, but it's meant to be really, really good. And it's a thriller about a group of girls who call themselves Bunny. Well, people call them the Bunnies because they call each other Bunny when they talk to each other. Our main character absolutely despises them, but then she ends up getting an invitation to like join their group, and then it just says, blending sharp satire with fairy tale horror, Bunny is a spellbinding trip of a novel from one of fiction's most original new voices. I'm excited, and it's just meant to be really, really good. I'm excited. This one was a bit of a gamble because I've not heard anyone talk about it, and I saw it like on the list when I was looking for books. Half of these were in my wish list, so I knew that I wanted to get them, but then the other like a few of them I found whilst I was looking, and that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. We follow Oliver Marks, who's just served 10 years for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day of his release, the detective that put him in jail comes and meets him, and he wants to know what happened the decade before, like what really happened, why did those people die. And it basically says that as a young actor at an elite conservatory, Oliver noticed that his talented classmates seemed to play the same characters on stage as off, whether it's villain, hero or temptress, though he was always a supporting role. But when the teachers changed the casting, a good-natured rivalry turns ugly, and the plays spill dangerously over into real life. When tragedy strikes, one of the 7 friends is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. I think that sounds like such a good thriller, and it's based around like school kind of, so I don't know if you would class that as dark academia, but I'm here for it. I think that sounds so good. I loved The Maidens, and that has given me the same kind of vibes as The Maidens, so I'm here for it. We then have Rarity by Colleen Hoover. My friend Jess highly recommended this to me. This is a thriller about our main character goes to live with a couple to finish writing the woman's book series that she had been writing because she was like injured or ill, or there's something wrong with her, so she is unable to write anymore. So our main character goes and lives with them to finish the books, but while she's looking for all the notes and stuff on the books that she's meant to be writing, she ends up finding an unfinished autobiography manuscript which reveals a lot of dark secrets, and she's trying to decide whether to tell the family and the husband, who she's getting very, very close to, and yeah, she's basically trying to decide whether she's gonna tell him and like make him leave his wife and then be with her, or is it like morally wrong to do that kind of thing? So yeah, I think this sounds really good. I think Jess is right to give it to me as a recommendation because I think I'm gonna really enjoy this, and I like that all these books, or out of all these books, not all of them are fantasy. There is some thrillers in there too. Then we have Echoes and Empires by Morgan Rhodes. This is another one that I took a complete gamble on. I didn't even know it was hardback, so that is a bonus because I do love my hardbacks. Again, I was just scrolling through and this kind of like jumped out to me. I thought the cover looked pretty, and then I read the description and it does sound really good. So it just says, Jocelyn Drake knows only 3 things about magic. It's rare, it's illegal, and it's always deadly. So when she's caught up in a robbery gone wrong at the Queen's Gala and infected by a dangerous piece of magic, one that allows her to step into the memories of an infamously evil warlock, she finds herself living her worst nightmare. Joss needs the magic removed before it corrupts her soul and kills her. But in Ironport, the cost of doing magic is death, and seeking help might mean scheduling her own execution. There's nobody she can trust. Nobody, that is, except wanted criminal Jericho Knox, who offers her a deal. His help extracting the magic in exchange for the magic itself. And although she's not thrilled to be working with a thief, especially one as infuriating and infuriatingly handsome as Jericho, Joss is desperate enough to accept. But Jericho is nothing like Joss expects. The closer she grows to Jericho and the more she learns of the world outside her pampered life in the city, the more Joss begins to question the beliefs she's always taken for granted. Because if what she sees in these memories is the truth, then everything she's ever known about right and wrong, about power and magic, and even about herself, has been a staggering, inescapable lie. It's got a bit of romance in it, it's got a bit of fantasy and magic in it, so naturally I'm here for it. I don't know if I don't really anticipate it to be anything like special because I've not really heard of it, but I mean it could be like a 5-star read, so we will find out. And then finally, the very last one on this list is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, but which also includes Zeus. So Persephone is engaged to Zeus, but Hades wants her to be his. It's got a bit of vice in it, I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it because it's not exactly the most family rated book from what I can tell, but basically she's meant to be, she's being forced to marry Zeus, so she escapes to the Undercity and makes the devil's bargain with a man she once believed was a myth, and a man who awakens her to a world that she never knew existed, which is Hades. So I'm very excited. I've had nothing but good things about this book and about Katie Roberts' like fairy tale retellings, so I'm very excited for that one. But yeah, that is it. You guys can finally like take a break. This is gonna be an absolute nightmare to edit. This is just some of them, so I will keep you guys updated with obviously like what I'm reading and stuff. A lot of these will be like read gradually, like the poetry. I'm not gonna just pick up and sit and read a whole book of poetry. That will be a gradual thing. Romance, I've already picked my romance for this month because it's February. I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but I will keep you guys updated. If you have read anything that I have included in this video, please tell me what you thought of them. If you've read the 2 that I said weren't very like spoken about, the If We Were Villains and the Echoes and Empires, if you've read any of those at all, please do let me know what you thought, because I'm very intrigued. I like finding books that I think sound really good that haven't been like really hyped about, because then there's a lot of pressure on whether they've been like whether they're good or not, so I'm excited to read them. That is it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!